What famous person did you regret meeting because they were an ass? Jared Leto. Hit on my girlfriend at the time. And called me fat. His brother Shannon was super nice though. To be fair. I am fat. But I knew that already. Lol. I was the ass. I saw Don Cheadle at an airport and was thinking about Ocean's 11 and said to my friend, dude, it's Bernie Mac, and he looked back and said, no, I'm the other black guy from Ocean's 11, but at least you liked the movie. Damn. You've peeped up, lol. He handled that pretty well. David Cross is pretty miserable. He's from Atlanta and his sister runs a food truck in town. Her recipes were all named after David Cross / Arrested Development type stuff. So my wife and I, being fans of David, asked about it and she told us she was his sister. So for months we chat her up anytime we order food from her truck. And eventually David's in town. She invites us to come to the food truck park to meet him. So we bring a poster from the early 2000s and are super pumped to meet him. We get there and she's very anxious and hesitant to introduce us. Weird. But okay. No. It's okay, I'll introduce you. She does, and he was incredibly dismissive and unpleasant. Never heard of anyone having a good interaction with him. Best interaction was with Conan O'Brien. He's a total class act. Chatted him up in a bathroom line of all places and said my wife and I were huge fans. He said we should come by the table to chat. I told him we didn't want to interrupt his dinner, but he insisted. Then asked if we wanted pictures. And was super cool. Beyoncé's dad. Jerk to wait staff. Snoop and his dad were awesome. Though. That, bar none, was and forever will be my favorite bartending gig. That doesn't surprise me about Beyoncé's dad. Her fans know he's a dick. From treating her mom like Speep to pretending he's the reason she's famous. Reggie Jackson. He was a childhood idol of mine. I got the opportunity to get a photo with him at some booth at a trade show called Internet World years ago during the .com boom. No one was in line to get pictures with him, so I walked up to get a photo while he was apparently trying to get the girls in the next booth over to sleep with him. He acted all bugged that I asked for a photo. Even though that is what he was hired for, and rolled his eyes. I guess he thought I cock-blocked him by just showing up in line to get a picture. I tossed the picture in the trash once I got it. Later that day I got a ball signed by Steve Garvey, who was super nice. He replaced Reggie Jackson as my hero that night. Most interactions involving Reggie Jackson that I've read about have been negative. That said, my dad used to work as a mechanic, and I'm not sure if he worked on Reggie's car, but he got to speak with him for a short time. Said he was a nice enough guy. My mom was pregnant with me at the time and he asked him if he could write an autograph for me, which he was happy to do. I still have it. Just on a regular cardstock piece of paper it says Redding, at work 5. Good luck. Dash. Mr. October. He also met Ricky Henderson a few times through the same place, and my dad loves Ricky Henderson. Says the Man of Steel is always cool and pleasant. I've got a couple signed cards from him. Ace Frehley of Kiss. It was at a rock and roll /TV/movie memorabilia convention in the mid-90s. Shortly before the Kiss reunion. And he clearly didn't want to be there. He didn't talk to fans. Didn't say hi. Hell. He didn't even look at you when you came to his table. He just signed whatever you placed in front of him and then you were hustled away. On the other hand, Adam Batman West was at the next signing table and he was a totally cool guy. Shook hands. Chatted with everyone. Signed whatever we wanted. Posed for pics. Etc. Meeting him more than made up for Ace's surly, hungover douchebaggery. My dad has been a radio personality for over 30 years and worked in country music for over half of it. He gets to meet celebrities semi-regularly. Apparently Keith Urban was really nice. Carrie Underwood was kind of mediocre BC. He caught her right after her performance and she was tired. But Kenny Chesney puts the D&D bag. Direct quote from my dad. Kenny promised to sign some pictures, t-shirts, etc. for a couple of kids who won a game through the radio. Kenny instead took a bunch of groupies into one of the back rooms of the radio station with a bottle of whiskey and locked the door. When my dad tried to get him to open the door and fulfill his end of the deal, he called the cops on my dad, and he was lucky enough to get a cop who was a good acquaintance. Cop said there wasn't much he could do other than make Kenny leave. So that's what he did. Kids never got their stuff signed, so my dad gave them some coupons for free pizza. He said that after a few years other radio hosts told him they had similar encounters. Can confirm. Before he was famous, he was touring state fairs. After the show he asked my friend and I to join him on his tour bus. We were 16. We went and hung out for a bit. Got some free beers, and then when he asked us to go back to the hotel, we noped out of there. I met Shane Dawson at a restaurant I used to work at. He used to come in a few times a year with his fiancé and in-laws. He's a dick lol. None of my servers liked him or wanted to serve his family. And I damn near had to fight some little girls off the property because they would not leave without seeing him. Bobby Flay. We paid hundreds of dollars to go to a fancy event he was participating in. Waited for a long-ass time to just meet him and say hi. He looked at us and walked away. Was a dick about it too. Never really liked Bobby Flay. The dude basically took Iron Chef and tried to steal it and Americanize it and call himself an Iron Chef. I've eaten at Mesa Grill in Vegas, not surprised it lost its Michelin star. Also, Flay has no other restaurants with a Michelin star. At this point he is just a celebrity that is a chef, slaps his name on a few restaurants, that's it. This is after he was extremely disrespectful as a competitor in the original Iron Chef. Twice. Jared Leto. I worshipped him as a teenager. Mainly from seeing him in Requiem for a Dream and My So-Called Life in his band. But he was the most pretentious and arrogant person in real life. Never meet your heroes. I've heard that so often. The way he talks on a lot of news shows never really sat right with me. Then he became a cult leader and I noped out. A famous soap opera star in my country. He came into the Dairy Queen I was working at. I didn't know who he was and my coworker started hyperventilating and went to the back. The guy was rude. And when I handed him his cone he said, "Is that all?" Like he expected extra because he was famous. Yeah, dude. If you order one scoop you get one scoop. Didn't find out he was famous until he left and my coworker came back to the front. This is a Dairy Queen, sir. Not a drama queen.